Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to carry on with debate, and congratulations to His Excellency the President on a brilliant speech that he gave, an account of the work that his administration has done. Of course, Mr. Speaker, I made remarks to the effect that when His Excellency the President took over this administration, as per the CBK records on the bank balances that were maintained, Mr. Speaker, there was only 90 million Kenyan shillings.
Maruma, what is the point of order, Senator Cheruiyot?
Okay.
Now, honorable senators, we need to make progress in this debate.
Yeah,
if you notice, we spend a lot of time on points of order.
Mr. Speaker, I think Senator Cheruiyot was supposed to substantiate the fact that the coffers had 90 million before.
He was doing exactly that. He was doing exactly that when you rose on a point of order.
How sober?
Senator Eddy, the chair knows exactly what he's doing. You prompt me to do something, I'll throw you out.
I wish Senator Mwaruma was listening, because that's exactly what I was explaining, that I will provide before this House in the next 24 hours the CBK bank balances of GOK at that particular time. Mr. Speaker, it goes beyond saying that things were so bad at that particular time that billions were being withdrawn via WhatsApp messages, Mr. Speaker. And we have it on authority of the controller of budget, the constitutional office holder that is allowed, Mr. Speaker, to grant withdrawals out of the exchequer, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it is not wrong, Mr. Speaker, to point out, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I'll be allowed to.
We need to make progress. Let the majority leader conclude his remarks. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, second thing, Mr. Speaker, is that His Excellency gave an account of programs that have been run by this administration, of course, top of which, Mr. Speaker, featured prominently, is a very successful Hustler Fund initiative, Mr. Speaker, that has lent out billions to ordinary citizens, Mr. Speaker. More than 10 million Kenyans have borrowed. I don't know what are the latest statistics from CBK on bank customers, Mr. Speaker, but if you are to rank the Hustler Fund hand-to-hand, site-to-site with various commercial banks of this country, Mr. Speaker, it will prominently feature among the top 2, if not the top 3. These are ordinary citizens that previously, Mr. Speaker, will not have had ease of access to credit. We have rescued ordinary hustlers, Mr. Speaker, who are borrowing at 300%, Mr. Speaker, to now borrowing at 8%, Mr. Speaker. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I had one of the leaders speak, I think it was Senator Sifuna, because I watched yesterday, celebrating about the default rate. He ought to be ashamed of his words, Mr. Speaker, because he knows that as a leader, he is one of the people who told ordinary citizens to take that money and not pay, without informing them, Mr. Speaker, that us as members of parliament, when we take our 3% mortgage, we make sure that we repay so that we are able, Mr. Speaker, to borrow again. Such bad example from leaders and speeches have inspired many young people to be misled. I celebrate the fact, Mr. Speaker, that I have seen further down the President's speech that an amnesty is being extended to many of these young people. And we have been cited examples of people from across the country, from the coast to northeastern, to the western part of the country, Mr. Speaker. People who have borrowed in excess of 1,000 times and saved many times and are able now to transact and do business, Mr. Speaker, courtesy of this revolutionary product, Mr. Speaker. I wish, Mr. Speaker, to urge and insist on the President, Mr. Speaker, to continue investing in that particular product and even double the amount which ordinary citizens can borrow, Mr. Speaker. I am aware, Mr. Speaker, because I represent the government side in this House, Mr. Speaker, that on the 30th of this month, such a product is going to be launched. And to the ordinary people that are continuing to borrow and are partaking of this particular product, Mr. Speaker, their life is increasingly getting better. Mr. Speaker, at a default rate of 73% for a GOK product, that is extremely successful. People need to compare what are the default rates, Mr. Speaker, of other government and economic stimulus programs that have been run before. People used to take money and disappear. But at least on this particular product, Mr. Speaker, at 73%, and I know it's going